Okay, thank you for coming and listen to my talk. So I changed the order of my talk or the topic. So now it's walking into your art and the heart. Okay, so here we go. So in beginning, I just want to give you some just brief introduction of my background. So I have been working on different discipline or profession during my career. So I had been working on the video game as an art director for 5 years on the Sony and the PlayStation. And I also collaborate with a lot of Taiwanese pop singer to create a concert visual for their concert. And I also build media, new media art installation, including like a Shanghai World Expo, and also I create public art for the Taiwan's public train station. So, and also I participate in the art exhibition, including like MoMA in New York and also Venice Biennale. So to tell you all that, just to make a point that I think in the old days, the filmmaker had to be really talented. For example, like George Méliès, he started as a bootmaker, and because when you're making movies, you had to count the money. So he also very good as a clerk. And he's also a magician in his profession. He's a painter, and when he's working on his father and mother's factory, he is also a machine supervisor. And then he turned into a filmmaker. So, but I like his title most is he called himself illusionist, which is like he's making illusion. So I think what my career sums up is that I can write programs and making arts, and I think that's what the VR director or VR filmmaker is about. We had to be multi-talented and creating new tools and new content because the technology is still evolving. So I will start with my 2 VR work, which is collaborated with American artist Laurie Anderson. So the first I want to show you is the work called the Chalk Room or La Cama in Sabbiata, which won the best VR experience in Venice Film Festival. So, so Laurie Anderson, she's my kind of like my mentor and also my models. Her career, she's about like 70 right now, but throughout his career, he's always creating this really avant-garde experience that open people's mind. So I met him like since '95, and we had collaborating with on many projects. But I think it's my honor to work with her, and this is the Chalk Room's intro video.
The Best VR Experience Award goes to La Camera in Sabatiata by Laurie Anderson and Hsin-Chien Huang.
会记住很多事情，而我们也不断的在遗忘，但是这些遗忘永远不会完全的忘记，但是在某些时候，他们又会突然回来。今天在这个空间里面，它充满了文字，它充满了各种符号，而这整个空间它是由无限的这种黑板 不断的在构成的。其实有点像是在一个别人的脑中，他的回忆里面，去旅行，然后你看到了这些文字。它其实是介于具象与抽象之间。像我们有一个是说，你今天这些文字的例子，它其实变成是一个星云，你可以在你的手上去把玩。有点像是说，文字它不断的聚合，但是它又不断的在消散。在这之间，开始去思考，我们对文字形成的这样子，我们的意识，它整个的一个过程。
Many of the stories that I write come from thinking about a time and how time works and how memory works. I like to have a concept. It's very important for me. So when we started La Camera Insapiata, let's make a big place where there can be lots of stories hidden away, and you can fly through and find them. The most important thing for me working on this project was to feel very free. I'm an artist because I want to be free, and this is a quality that I try to put in my work, so that people look at it or hear it or read it, and they feel free. That's what I like.
人在过世以后的49天。我们的意识还有记忆，它逐渐消散在这整个的世界之中。所以在里面，我们希望说，怎么样子把这样子的感觉，放进一个电子世界里面。那我想，这其实是一个非常大的一个挑战，因为其实死亡和新生，它就是一个人类最重要的一个过程。而如果说我们这最新的科技，它可以让人去开始去思考这件事情啊，我觉得这个就是我们今天这个新的科技一个非常重要的使命。
Your feet say, "I'm in a room. I feel the floor," but your eyes say, "I'm in great danger, flying, I'm about to fall." You believe your eyes, not your feet. That's why I like to make VR that lets you look around for yourself, that you are in control.
在未来，我觉得 VR 会有一个非常大的一个影响，就是如果我们今天直接对于人对自己的认知去做改变的话，譬如说我今天从另外一种生物去看待我自己，或者我今天用不同的性别看待我自己，或我今天从不同的文化背景去看我自己的时候，其实我觉得这会是一个最大的一个改变。那这我觉得也是 VR 下一波的一个重要的影响。
The new art form of VR is about the body and freedom. So I would really like to make some more VR. I didn't think so at the beginning, but now I see a way to make a kind of opera out of VR, and it's very exciting. So made it possible to do it.
So the next work I'm going to show you is the To the Moon, which is complete last year, also collaborating with Lori. And this is the text that Lori put on the installation. Says, To the Moon is dedicated to the Chinese painter. And he's making this really delicate painting all through his life. And before he died, he finally finished this painting. And then he put down the pen and then he walked into this art. So we always found this story is fascinating because it's like VR. Is that the artist create a world, and then he can not only himself, but he can invite all his visitors and audience walk into this art. So I will show you the also the To the Moons.
To work on this project, it's more like to rethink what's this big giant rock relate to my life. We do a lot of research, like what's the origin of the moon.
First, I should say a little bit about what it's not, because it's a work that began with a lot of stories about the moon and stories about things, and especially it was going to at one point be a Russian crime novel kind of thing. It was going to be like all about the dark side of the moon, the one side we don't see, the side that the Russians saw first. And they named everything with these fantastic Russian names. And I thought, let's do the dark side of the moon. And it will be this impenetrable codes, and it will be, so it was going to be that. Then gradually we were turning it around. It was about a number of things.
It's a VR work that visitors will experience from a mystical point of view, or politics point of view, or from a literature point of view. It gives you this multi-angle experience, and with the virtual reality, you actually become an astronaut and landing on.
For some people, VR is a nightmare. They hate it. They vomit. They're like, no, the glasses, it's very clumsy. It's super clumsy. And you have gloves and a backpack, and you're like an astronaut. You can hardly move. You're in your cocoon, But for me, it doesn't matter so much. It's the mind that can jump. It's your imagination. So this is work about that.
I think that one of the most important thing in the Western art is that the human body is always the central topic. In our VR work, first you will gain a body, become an astronaut. But later on the 3/4 of this experience, you actually lost in your body as an astronaut. And then you will gain a new body, which is composed of like the largest prime number. Your arm will become extra, like very, very long, like space alien tentacles.
I guess that I do have a secret goal, which is that people feel free. And they are like not trapped you're only trapped by your mind. I know that sounds such a cliche, so that you can always get out of it. And I guess in a funny way, this is about my love of openness and the freedom that brings, of like realizing that you're also part of that realization is that you're nothing.
The reason I really love the stars is that we cannot hurt them. We can't burn them. We are reaching for them.
Okay. So I think the first part is that how the VR can walk into your art. So I think the VR probably for the artist is the cheapest way, and also allow artists as the most ambitious media so far. Because, for example, like the chalk room, what you saw there, actually we build a huge world. Like this is the entire map of the chalk room, and the person is like a pixel in this map. So to do that, actually, it's taking almost zero amount of money. It's just like cost your artist's imagination and time. And in the chalk room, we create like 8 different rooms, and in those rooms, we start to try to create something that's we cannot experience in the real world. So to use that as example, for example, this is the artwork or a sculpture I did for a concert, which our goal is to have all the audience emerge into the singer's lyric. So we're building this giant lanterns, and it's a laser cutting the lyric into it. So when you light up, you will see all the audience emerge into this singer's lyric. Or another thing we'll try to do in the installation is that we use 3D sensor like a KEYNOTE and then capture the audience body and then use the text from the ancient Chinese. So you will see this language start forming in this, forming into the shape of the audience or visitor's body. And in the chalk room, this is Laurie's painting, but also we combine with her poetry. So in here, you will see example that we transform the painting into a sequence of, or like a text cloud that you can fly into, and you will see the text cloud like swimming around you.
In a dog show. And my father came to the dog show, and he said, "That's a really good dog."
So I think in the VR we can make something, I call it a transmedia. We can make the space as a painting, or the painting could be a poetry, or the poetry could be a sculpture, or the sculpture could be the space. Yeah. Or another example is that we can walk into the sound. This is also one of the rooms in chalk room. So when the visitor sings, then his sound volume turns into a sound sculpture. So as he's singing in this room, like more and more sound sculptures start to grow, and then he can. Okay. So I think this is from Chinese Taiji. I think it's very well described the concept of abstract and concrete. So we have imaginations, and then our imagination can turn into the reality. But I think in the VR we have something that's between real and imaginations. So that's why we call it virtual reality. And how am I doing in time? 2 minutes? Okay. So let me just skip some slides. Okay. Another thing I think I want to talk about is walking into your heart. How to do it is that I want to show you this experiment. It's called the rubber hand experiment. What it does is that they will bring people and then they will sit on the table. But this is her real hand, and then they will put a rubber hand there.
I'm sorry, are you okay? You don't need to do that with me ever again.
Take a seat right here, and you're going to put your hands on the table with your left hand resting on the left side. I'm going to drape this over you.
It feels like my hand's right in front of me.
Okay.
No, stop. No, dude, put the, no, oh, Jesus. Are you
okay?
Dude, why?
Take a breath, and let me know again when that's feeling like your hand.
So
okay, it's certain.
This is a really interesting experiment because 10 or less 10 minutes, 10 seconds,
Oh, Jesus!
feel that the rubber hand, the fake hand, is their real body. And this is the experiment we did in our one of our work. We used the hand sensor called the lip motion to capture the visitor's hand. And also we start to put like a blood on their hands. Or another experiment we did is that we put the, we make their skin like different colors, or even put the stigmata on their palms. When they see their hand has a wound on it, a lot of people start to feel that they really feel pain on their palm, even it's just an illusion. Another amazing thing is that when we did this experiment in Laurie's studio, one of our colleagues, he has this disease that his finger cannot open up. But when he tried this with the goggles on, and then he's playing with his hand, we found that his fingers start to open up. He's unconsciously doing that. So without his notice, we just take a photograph of his hand. And then when he take off the goggles, and then we show him the photo, he started crying because in the real life, when he knows he has this disease, he cannot open his hand. So I think that's really amazing that the VR is a media that makes people believe, and the belief can do a lot of things. I think there's still a lot of mystery that we don't know about what VR can do. So because of the time, I will just skip this. But this is another work we did called Aloft, and it's the experience of you are in a crashing plane, but the plane will disintegrate in a very slowly way. So a lot of people, when they experience it, they didn't feel frightened, but instead they feel they are free and flying in the sky. And here, all kinds of debris were flying around them, like the typewriter, but also in the end, you will see your hand covered with blood. But also when you shake your hand, the blood will go away, and suddenly you found you have become the horse. So this is a photo we take, or video we take. This is really interesting, like to see like this person. I think he must be a very good typewriting. And also this is my kid. He's like playing. So I think the VR is the media that invite visitors to experience the content with their full body. And I think from the Lacan's mirror stage, I think that's a really important theory probably for VR. So if you're interested, I think you should just read more into the mirror stage. So I think we are starting building our identity and the body. Like for example, in the to the moon, we only put the shadows of the visitor. So, but even in this vast space, when people see their shadows, like here, they will recognize it, and then they start waving to their shadows. I think that's really interesting. Or like this, the visitors like riding a donkey on the moon, and they start to also waving to their shadows. Or like one thing, we make the arm become longer and longer, and the visitor feel that they are really become, their bodies start to changing during this process. Or like this one is that their body, the astronaut body, start to detach from them, and they feel like they are helpless, like floating in the midair. So I think that's all my thought or idea I would like to share with you, and thank you very much. Merci.